think I'm good now. I think being the operative word. I don't know if I'm actually good or not, but let's just go with it, you know? Oh my god, what is going on? I leave this thing alone for one small bit of time and then everything decides it doesn't want to do. Oh well, hold on. Let me fix myself real quick. Oh god, my apartment decided it wanted to be goofy today. Decided it wanted to be goofier than a cartoon Disney dog, right? Good lord. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome. We're gonna hang out and do some tier listing, just like we did last time. Or no, we didn't do that last time. You know what I mean? We're just gonna chill out. We're gonna do some tier list because why not? That's just a thing I do now, I guess. Also, I'm just doing it because I think it's funny to just drop my opinion on everybody like that. I made a Soulsborne boss tier list the last time I did this. We're going to do something a bit different today. Kind of like not a surprising pivot, not going to lie. But, yeah. I'm going to be doing a tier list that kind of works off of my namesake. Or not necessarily name, but like how my face looks, more or less. I'm going to do a Gundam tier list. Specifically, I'm going to do a Gundam series tier list. Because why not? You know what I mean? So, yeah. I guess without further ado, I better just pull the thing up because, oh my god. Oh my goodness, what is happening? What is happening here? Oh my god. Alright, scooch myself over. Why did I sound Canadian there? Good lord. Alright, well then. We are gonna just go ahead and go through. And depending on how quickly or slowly I go through this, don't know, I just literally Googled this tier list and then altered it a little bit to be a little bit more in line with how I think. I'm gonna just explain the categories, I guess. Amazing. This is one of the best Gundam series I've ever seen, and I consider it to be some of the peak forms of entertainment in terms of Gundam. Good. It was good. Nothing really to write home about. Something that just sort of fills the mech itch for me. But yeah, it's something that I have very few complaints about. Is I. Like, I always have an I category just because I tend to describe stuff as I when it's like, you know, I don't. It's got its moments. It's got its dumb stuff that I don't like. It's I. But that's not to say that. But it's more on like the positive side. Mid is like there's more stuff I dislike than I like about this. So there's that. Let's see. Bad is very self-explanatory. It's like, I didn't like it. It was dumb. And also didn't watch. Also fairly self-explanatory. If something lands in this category, I just didn't watch it. And or I don't care about it. Ergo, I don't really care about it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right on in. And already we're starting off strong with Gundam Seed Destiny. Now, my bias is going to show very, very early on in that I love Gundam Seed for its mobile suit design. I do not like Gundam Seed for its story. That being said, I actually didn't mind Gundam Seed Destiny that much. It didn't bother me, and frankly, I like the Impulse Gundam. And Shin Asuka would be a very interesting like character archetype that they sort of build off of. I think it's aight. I think Seed Destiny is aight. Now, regular Gundam Seed is bad. I do not like Kira Yamato. And I do not like any of the characters in Gundam Seed. Like regular Gundam Seed. That being said, the Strike Gundam is awesome. The Freedom Gundam is awesome. The Strike Freedom is awesome. I am upset that it got put in the hands of Jesus Kira Yamato. Or Kira Jesus Yamato. And that the fact that the story was basically the OG Gundam, but worse. Worse in all the ways that matter. Let me just say. Gundam Build Divers. Okay. Since I noticed that they don't have the second Build Divers, so Build Divers Re-Rise, I'll talk a little bit about what I think about Gundam Build Divers, and then I'll talk about what I think about the second one. No surprise here, I think Build Divers is bad. Of all the Gundam Build series, this one is easily the worst. It's so... The main character is basically a kid version of Kira Yamato. I don't even really like the mech designs in this. I really don't. The gunpla designs in this are kind of lame. And very, very forgettable. But, that being said, when they put Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise out, that was really cool. I really liked that one. So, if Build Divers Re-Rise were on this list, it would actually be up and good. And I have, a very sentimental value attached to that show. But regular Build Divers is trash. I'm sorry, but it is. Next, we have a Gundam SD series. Didn't watch it. I'm not gonna lie. Don't know what this series is. Didn't watch it. Don't care to. So, we're gonna move on from that. But, what do we have here? Gundam 0083. Oh, okay. Hold up. Sorry, I had to lean in and read it a little bit, but this is Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. And maybe my first controversial opinion, but 0083 was very mid. Same goes for, just all around. I think Gundam 0083 was very mid. I mean, it told the story it wanted to. It did everything I think it did everything it should have. But the GP series is kind of a weak showing of Gundam. And I thought it was boring for the most part. That's kind of a blunt... I'm just going to be blunt. I thought it was boring, so... I don't even really remember the names of the main characters, to be perfectly honest with you. And, yeah. Moving swiftly on. Gundam Stargazer. Gundam Seed Stargazer. Now, this was actually going up in aight. Stargazer was aight. Had its problems. It had some moments in there that I thought were dumb. But it's basically the Gundam Seed equivalent to like Unicorn Gundam, I feel like, in a weird way. I don't really remember the main character very well. I do think the Voider Lumiere system was really cool. And the Stargazer itself is pretty dope, so it goes in the I category. G-Savior. We don't talk about this movie. No thank you. That being said, I think it'd be cool if we had a Gunpla of of the G-Savior. That'd be pretty dope. Because it's not a badly designed Gundam. It's just a bad movie. Alright, let's see. Then we have Gundam Encounters in Space. I think that's what that's supposed to be. And all I'm going to say is that of the original Gundam series, it's good. It's very good, actually. I'm not going to put it up in amazing because, I mean, Amuro Ray is the OG, he's the GOAT. But this was the one where they kill Dozle Zabi and the one where they kill Lala. I don't know. It's good. It's very good. It's just that I don't think it... I don't think it has that oomph to really push it up into amazing, though. Like, I felt emotions watching it, but not enough to really make me, like move me, I suppose. That's kind of a pretentious way of putting it, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Moving swiftly on, though, we have Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. And Zeta Gundam goes into the good category, because that tells a very dark story, and it tells a very good story. I like the Zeta Gundam. I like that the story's a bit more serious. Actually, I like it a little bit more than Counters in Space, so let me just bump this up real quick. Also, Camille Bidon is a very good character, and that's not a woman's name. Also, it's not an anime. Those who get those jokes will get those jokes. Let's see, Gundam 0080. Okay. Again, my bias is showing. This is the first one that goes into the amazing category, and my justification for it is this. It tells a very well self-contained story. It showcases a really powerful mobile suit and the lengths that someone had to go to nerf it just so that regular people could use it because they don't have BS space magic. It also showcases what a more, like, I don't want to call it reasonable, but a more reasonable side of Zeon was doing at the time. And it also showcases one of the coolest frickin' mobile suits of all time in the form of the Kempfer. Oh my god. And the fact that our main character, our main Zeon character doesn't use it, always sat poorly with me. But you know what? The Zaku FZ and the story between like Cyclops, all of it is good. All of it is just so good. And it also tells like one of the weirdest, like cheesiest Romeo and Juliet situations that I've ever seen in a Gundam series. But it works, especially if you put Romeo and Juliet in giant robots and then make them kill each other. Sorry. That's kind of a stupid way of putting that, but man, Gundam 0080 was so good. Yes, amazing show. Gundam X. Gundam X was very forgettable. But I do have to admit that I like the Gundam X's like satellite cannon idea. That's really all I remember about it, being completely honest with you. But I'm actually tempted to just throw it into mid because it didn't really do anything that stood out to me. There's going to be someone who really likes Gundam X that's just going to rip me to shreds, but I just didn't really I just didn't really gel with it that much. So Gundam X can just hang out right there. Now, Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam movie, it was aight. Don't have very many complaints about it. Enough said about that, really. I'm gonna guess... Man, I wish that my browser wasn't so small, but... I think that's supposed to be Char's counterattack, and if it is, I'm gonna assume it is. But I love Char's counterattack. That goes up in amazing as well. Char's counterattack is what happens when you take the BS space magic of Mobile Suit Gundam and make it into something really, really cool. Hold on. I'm actually going to Google that real quick, just so that I can read a bigger version of it. Blu-ray box art. Yeah, it's Char's counterattack. Sorry, I had to double check and make sure that I was actually looking at the right thing. But yes, Char's counterattack is phenomenal, and it does the space magic BS of new types and all that. Probably in one of the best ways, storytelling wise. So, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, it's dope. It also has the Sazabi. And also the new Gundam is just... It's really cool, okay? I love it. Now, Gundam Build Fighters Try. I know a lot of people hate on this show. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know a lot of people who think it's stupid. And it is. Because basically you have a kung fu epic about a martial arts sekai, like a martial artist who martial arts through gunpla. But you know what? It's charming. It's really charming, and I don't really care what anyone says about it. It's good. I think it's good. Especially because I like the dynamic between the three characters. They also introduce, like, weird dynamics later on between rival teams, but I don't care. I would classify it as, like... Okay, so there's a classification of cartoons and anime that I would call footy pajamas and turn your brain off shows. That's what Gundam Build Fighters Try is. You're not supposed to think too hard about this show. It's just awesome. And that's it. You just enjoy the slop. Enjoy. Is it stupid? Yes. Do I care? Absolutely not. Gundam F91, I'm biased, goes right up there and amazing. Has the best one of the best mobile suit designs of all time. It's the precursor to Crossbone Gundam. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bump it down a little bit, but Formula 91, actually, damn it. Now that I think about it and I'm being objective about this, I only really like F91 for its mobile suit design. So, God, the more I think about it, the sadder I get. You know what? I'm going to just split the difference and call it aight. I have the F91 on my desk, and I have to look at it while I say this. But it's true. It's not really that great of a story, to be perfectly honest with you. And you basically have Darth Vader as the freaking bad guy. But the Formula 91 Gundam is just dope. And it's super cool. Unfortunately, I don't think it really holds up as well as I remember it, so we're just gonna stick it in aight and move on before I depress myself further. Okay. that looks to be... Ooh. Is this Encounters in Space? And I just mistook the previous one for... Okay, well, if this one's Encounters in Space, then it goes right next to the one that I thought was Encounters in Space. Either way, same thing, really, is that I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Gundam Wing. Oh boy. I'm going to get crucified. Okay. Before I tell you where I think it deserves to be put, all I'm going to say is this. They did the edgy boy squad first. I mean, in terms of, like, Gundam stories. And you know what? It was but it was painfully mid. The only thing that's cool about it is its mobile suit designs. I'm sorry, but the story itself kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. Hiro Yui is more like, and most of the dudes are just a meme, or just meme factories in mobile suit form. Wait, where did I go? Before I continue justifying this to myself, hold up. I need to pop myself back on screen real quick. There we go. Alright. I'm back. There we go. But yeah. Gundam Seed. Or not Gundam Seed. Gundam Wing. It was just painfully mid. I know people have a bias towards it because it was their because this and one other one would be their first ever Gundam. I just can't. I think it's painfully mid. It's so mid, in fact, that I'm just like, ah. I have a little bit of a little bit of haterade for it. Not gonna lie. Next is one of my personal favorites, 08MS Team. And 08MS Team sits, for now, at the very top of amazing for me. Reason why? I like the war story. I like the fact that Shiro Amada is... Okay, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of a stupidly written character, but he's a stupidly written character that exists singularly in another sort of like Romeo and Juliet story. It basically does everything that Gundam 0080 does, but it better, in my opinion. Like, I like the fact that you have two people who fall in love on two opposite sides of a war. But where I think this differs is that Shiro Amada does not have a Mary Sue, like, bestest mobile suit ever. He has a grunt suit. Now, my bias is very much that I love characters that can do so much with a grunt suit just because they're that good. And yes, Shiro Amada is a little bit of a Mary Sue because he survives point-blank rocket launcher stuff and kills a mobile suit with a bazooka and does stupid things, but he's also a commander who does a pretty good job. He's able to, like, make the most out of a bad situation. He defeats Norse fricking Packard who was piloting one of the coolest looking goofs I have ever seen. And he's able to do just so much with so little, with what amounts to basically a landlocked gym with a Gundam head. It's awesome. Like seriously, 08MS Team is it goes even on my like back in my days when I used to watch Trash Taste a lot, they would talk about like making 9x9s of like your favorite anime, and if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, 08MS team to this day is on would be on my like 9x9 in anime, purely just for my nostalgia, purely just because I memorized most of the story, purely because I just love everything about it. It's about as close to Real Robot as it gets to. Gundam Evolve, not gonna lie, never watched it. Couldn't tell you if it was good or not. Looks interesting. Never watched it. Gundam Age. Oh boy. It's bad. Now, it's bad, but it's bad because it's bad because I don't... Not because I think the story or the concept behind it is bad. It's bad because I think they rushed it too fast. Like, if they slowed down, took their time with it, and actually developed out everything about what happens with the Gundam Age and everything that happens, like, generationally as it changes hands, then I think it would be a good series. So, unfortunately, Gundam Age, whenever I encounter it as we go through here, is going to go in the bad category. So, I also am not really a fan of how the Age looks. It's like if you took the classic Grandpa design Gundam and made it worse. It's like, Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. Oh boy, here comes my bias again. It goes up in amazing, right next to 08MS team. Maybe slightly under it. But it's the OG Gundam, but with updated graphics, more Real Robot stuff, more like better designed machines, in my opinion. And you also get to see a little bit more of like how the 1 Year War started to shape up. And to me, that's just nice, you know? I also like how they have more plausible explanations for like mobile suit development and oh yeah. Origin is up. Origin, I love Origin. The only thing that I'll say I hate about it, and this is just a general like gripe I have in general sometimes, is when anime tries to do 3D alongside 2D. Because they never do the 3D right. They always do it in a certain way where it makes my eyes hurt. But for Origin, I'm willing to accept this. I'm willing to accept it and make it so that, like, yeah, it sucks in that regard, but everything else is just done so well that I don't care. So, there's the Origin. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt Bandit Flower. Oh boy. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't watch it. But that comes with a big caveat because I wish I did. And we'll probably run into it eventually on this list, but I love Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt December Sky, so even though I didn't watch Bandit Flower, I have no doubt that I'd probably love it. Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. One of the most depressing shows I've ever frickin' seen. But also, oh god, it's like depression speedrun. And you know what? I hesitate to call it a good watching experience. I hesitate to call it an entertaining experience. It's definitely a good story, but oh boy. The things that poor Uso Yuen goes through is just painful. Age Memory of Eden. Didn't watch it. Didn't like Age in general, so I just never watched it. But what I did watch, and I consider to be the GOAT of Gundam, that goes right at the top of the freaking list, and I mean this with zero irony, I love the hell out of Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Martial arts tournament, hell yeah. Every country having its own unique, stupidly designed Gundam that does, like, culture-specific superpower, hell yeah. The Nether Gundam, hell yeah. The fact that the American Gundam uses a pair of cowboy revolvers and wears football armor that then turns into like a boxer's kit. Fuck yeah. You know, I don't cuss normally, but fuck yeah. This is fuck yeah the anime. And even though it doesn't go on like my personal 9x9, and even though the story itself is stupid as shit, but you know what? It's just an anime of awesome. And I'm okay with that. It knows what it wants to be. It tells a stupid story with such earnest love and joy behind it that I can't hate it. In fact, I adore it so much. Anyone who says that this is a bad anime, frankly, you're wrong. You're technically correct, but you're also wrong. So, oh boy. Let's see. Igloo. I liked Igloo. Wait, it doesn't go in the didn't watch. I liked Igloo. It was aight. I liked that it told a more grounded story of the 1 Year War. Didn't really like the 3D animation very much, so I have to dock it for that. But it doesn't have the same staying power as Origin. It is pretty cool, though, and it introduced me to one of my favorite grunt suits in the Zuda, so... You know? Not bad. Double Zeta. Not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of Double Zeta. I think it's very mid. And even though it kind of picks up in the second half, that first half is kind of a cringy slog that I don't want to get through every time I want to rewatch the Gundam franchise to any degree, especially Universal Century Timeline stuff. Yeah. It's mid. Painfully so. So we're just gonna slap him right there. Now, is this Awakening the Trailblazer, or is this a different 00? Oh god, I wish that... I wish I could see it, but in general, I like Gundam 00, it's just very mid. It teeters on aight for me, but it's Gundam Wing done better. And unfortunately, to me, Gundam Wing and, like, anything that's kind of tangentially similar to it doesn't really strike my interest that much. But of all of this, you know what? I'm putting it right at the bottom of aight. Because I like the mech designs. Yeah, okay. I like the mech designs. I like that it's basically Gundam Wing done better. There we go. That's my hot take. Oh dear god. Sea Destiny, whatever the frick this is. I'm putting it right next to... I see Kira Yamato in the screen there, and that's all I need to know. Now, this one I can tell is probably Endless Waltz. And Endless Waltz was very aight. It's definitely better than Base Gundam Wing, but I don't think it's better than 00. Yeah, I think that's where that deserves to be. And the sad thing is that I neither care enough or remember enough of the story of it to really want to like it, so it teeters on the edge of going down into mid. Mobile Suit Gundam December Sky. Love it. I adore it. I do like it more than Origin. I love the soundtrack. I love the mobile suit design. I love that they actually thought about, like... I love that they actually just put so much thought and care and attention into this. And also, how often is it that they try to justify willingly turning a person into a quadriplegic just so they can command a crazy-ass mobile suit? You don't see that very often, let me tell you. It's definitely one of the most grim stories I've ever seen in Gundam. And, you know, I don't really have very many words for it other than... Holy crap. I adore it, though. I adore December Sky. It's so good. It's so good. Next, we have Turn A. Not gonna lie. It's mid-teetering on I. I could easily flip-flop on both. Mostly because I don't like the mech designs, but I do very much like the... I like the story, I don't like the mech design. There. That's what I think of that. And, oh, I see that there's another one of it right there. You know what? Just to symbolize this better, Turn A has a good story, but I don't like the character or mech designs. Therefore, it is Ite to mid to me. Gundam Reconquista in G. Oh boy. I don't like this one. Which is a shame because I really like... I really like how the G-Self looks. I just don't like the story. It's cringy and weird. It's like they tried to do a slice of life, but they did it poorly. Now then, OG Build Fighters. OG Build Fighters is good. It's very good. I like the overarching story. I like the I just like everything about it. I usually don't even like Strike Gundam variants, but the Build Strike Gundam is one of the coolest Gunpla designs I've ever seen, so I gotta give props where props is due, you know? The second half of Unicorn Gundam... This is painful, but I have to put it on good. It's like right in the middle of good, because I feel like they lost momentum and dropped the ball in the second half. But it's still very good, so I can't really say that I'd want to put it higher. And also the fact that they started pulling out variants of the Unicorn Gundam, which was already one of my favorite Gundams of all time. And they just start handing out variants of it, like the Banshee. Like, I wish they would have just committed to the bit and made the Unicorn Gundam literally be its own special thing, instead of trying to just make a bunch of variants of it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I don't like what they did in the second half of Unicorn. So it's going right there. Twilight Axis. Not gonna lie, didn't watch it. Build Fighters Battlelog? Battlelog? What? Wait, where did it go? Oh, there it is. I did watch it. Unfortunately, it's mid. It's like an anthology of self-contained stories, and they're not really that good. They're fine. if you have a build fighter's itch, I suppose it's okay, but I'm not really that impressed with it. So it goes in mid. Iron-Blooded Orphans. Iron-Blooded Orphans is amazing. It goes right at the bottom of amazing, but it has my... No, actually, I have to be honest with myself. I like it slightly more than 8th MS Team. Only slight... Even then, I kind of flip-flop on this, so let me put it behind 08th MS Team. I love the story, I love the lore, I love the background of it. The mech designs are freaking awesome. I don't know why people were riffing on the designs when they first came out, but I love that you can physically see the inner frame. I love that there's no stupid space magic in this one, and that if you want powers similar to stupid space magic, you have to get an invasive surgery in which they basically wire your brain to this demonic Gundam's systems that feed you telemetry data and all that. So you don't even really get BS space magic. It's more like you plug your brain into a supercomputer and hope it doesn't drive you crazy or ruin your, like, nerve synapses. Plus, every single Gundam in here isn't as overpowered as you think it is. It's only really Mikazuki's Barbatos that seems overpowered just because of the nature of, like, the kind of character that Mikazuki is. But what I appreciate is that the Gundams aren't really that overpowered unless you're fighting a mobile armor, which is the thing they were designed to kill. Otherwise, they're just about as good as any other mobile suit. Like, to the point where you see them slapping Gray's armor or the armor from the Gusion, not the Gusion, but the Manrodes. And that, like, other commercially available mobile suits can sometimes even kind of outclass a Gundam to some degree because they're such old technology, which I think is fascinating. Like, everything about Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans is just fascinating to me. I even wanted to play the mobile game just to see what the Hajiroboshi and the... it's not called the Asmodeus, but it's called the... I'll remember it later, but one fascinating detail about it is that they actually name all of the Gundams and Iron-Blooded Orphans after the Princes of Hell and the Ars Goetia. So that's a fascinating piece of trivia. But for some reason, they also name all of the, like, grunt suits, especially if you go on the, like, Yallarhorn side of things, after Norse mythology stuff. I don't know. I just really love this. I love the franchise of Iron-Blooded Orphans. And I'm glad that they never really tried to continue it, because I don't know, man. I feel like they would botch it if they tried to add to it. Well, they kind of already did add a bunch of stuff to it in terms of, like, the gunpla and the lore behind everything, and oh god, I love it so much. I need more of this, basically. Beginning G. Beginning G was very mid. It's the very first build. It's the very first build anime. And don't get me wrong, I actually kind of really like the idea behind the Beginning 30 Gundam. It's neat, and I like the idea that it has an energy V-fin for style points, but it was boring. It teeters on bad, but it's charming. It was the first. It was their first try. Give them a break. Now, this looks like the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and all I'm going to say about it is that it's good. I like the original Mobile Suit Gundam. It has charm to it, especially when it's very early on. You have a story about Amuro Ray getting himself stuck in a bad situation that he probably doesn't want to be in. And you know what? I can respect that. It's a very good, respectable story. It's the original Gundam story, in fact. Now then, more Gundam Seed. Get this shit out of my face. Now, Gundam Unicorn, the first half, oh my god. It goes right up in amazing, right behind Char's counterattack. And that's because it's hype. It's really, really hype. Especially when you first get introduced to the Unicorn Gundam, when you first see it go from this sleek, almost armored core looking design into a full-on, like, Berserker Gundam that's designed to hunt people who have space magic. Yes, I know it's called new types. No, I will not call it that. It's BS space magic that I don't really like, but in this case, I'm okay with it. Especially since we have... Excuse me. Especially since we have a machine that's specifically designed to take out those kinds of people. Whew. I feel like they really dropped the ball in the other versions of Unicorn Gundam, but the very first half of it is superb. To the point where, oh god, actually, this is a very interesting story, but where I live, they actually had an event where they had a full-on, like, IMAX showing of it, but you could sit in the audience and actually watch them, like, watch a live band play the music of the anime while the live screening was going. And that was one of the coolest things I've ever, like, been to, because it was like going to a movie and an orchestra all in one. So yeah, like, right at the very bottom of my bias is probably the OG Unicorn Gundam. And oh my god, I love it so much. Love it so much. More Gundam 00. Not gonna lie. It goes where the rest of the Gundam 00 stuff is. Yes, there we go. Because there's Awakening the Trailblazer, and then there's... I think the original or the follow-up. Both are just as good as each other. It's Gundam Wing done better. I have no idea what this is. It goes in the didn't watch category, but it looks cute and silly, so... Sure. And then what's this? Oh, this is Miller's Report. Miller's Report goes hard, actually. And it was more 8th MS team, so it goes right up there. I'm sorry, it does. Again, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but I didn't watch it. I also have no idea what this is, so it gets put right there. Didn't watch that. Oh boy. So this one is... Wait. I need to zoom in so I can read it. Sorry, it looks big. Oh, this is the one where they introduced the Banshee. Not the Banshee, but the Phoenix. I didn't like... Wait, is this narrative? Oh, wait, narrative. Yeah, no, that's the one where they have the Phoenix in it, and they have the narrative Gundam. See, I'm torn on that one, because I think the Phoenix is stupid. But I like the narrative Gundam. And the Sinanji Stein is awesome. The story of it, though, is really, really stupid, though. It goes right at the top of mid, I want to say. Yeah, I think that's right. This feels right to put it there. Alright, let's see. Is this GM's counterattack? Ooh, Build Fighters GM's counterattack. This was an interesting one. Because it's built more Build Fighters shortly after the series ends, and it's also like, I don't know, I put it on like the same scale as I would Build Fighters Try, but I actually like Build Fighters Try a little more than I like Jim's counterattacks, so we're gonna have to stick them there. Alright. Here is another OG Mobile Suit Gundam. It's good. Now, here's something very funny and very interesting. Mobile Suit Gundam SD Gundam Force is actually the very first Gundam show that I had ever watched. It's the very first Gundam show that I've ever watched. I liked it when I was a kid. And then one year, in my I had like a nostalgia hunger to go back and rewatch the stuff I used to watch as a kid. And SD Gundam Force did not age well. It's very bad. It's stupidly bad. But I also have that, like, same nostalgia for it. Because it was my very first Gundam show. And not only that, but the designs of the Gundams are not that bad. But the premise of it is basically that it's kind of like Transformers. If you took a Gundam skin and pasted it over it and just kind of hand-waved the transformation gimmick. Yeah, it's not that good. But I also have just so much nostalgia for it. Oh god, this is painful. But I think I'm gonna have to slap him in mid. Bordering on bad, mind you. So yeah. This here is the tier list as it exists for me right now. Bear in mind, all this right here is just 110% like subjective. No shit. But you can very clearly see what my bias is. But since they're actually not on this tier list, I think some stuff needs to be... You know what? Let's talk about this, actually. Because there are some that aren't on here that I kind of wish were. And one of the ones that I notice isn't on here is, okay, let's just start at the top and go down. But one of the ones that isn't on here, you know what, I'll just... Let's see, GQUUUX. G-Quacks. Now, G-Quacks is a Gundam franchise that I haven't seen yet, but I want to. So, G-Quacks, if it were here, would probably go in the didn't watch, but I would want to watch it because even if I think that the mech designs are ugly, I just want to see what they do with the story. It looks interesting, you know? Since it's supposed to be like an alternative UC timeline, I really want to see what they do with it. So, G-Quacks would very quickly go into the didn't watch category, but would want to watch. That's the key thing. I would very much want to watch it. And then we have Witch from Mercury. Now, Witch from Mercury, in my opinion, is a damn good is a damn good series. Starts off kind of lame, to be perfectly honest with you, with an interesting premise. And then it sort of devolves for a little bit, but then it immediately jumps back up in quality. It's a very strange series that to this day has produced maybe my favorite iteration of what a Gundam suit should be. The unfortunate thing is that even though I really love how the original Ariel looks, the Ariel rebuild is lame. I'll just I'll just cop to that. But then they double back around and they have a sick design with the Calibarn, which has a broomstick megaparticle cannon, and I think that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Because it's a witch Gundam. And then you have the Schwarzet, which, big sword Gundam. I'm not usually one for melee suits, but my god, okay, they do that one so well. So Schwarzet and the... And actually, no, that's not even my favorite mobile suit from there. My favorite mobile suit from G-Witch was the Zowart. Which is what happens if you take, like, a gym and make it look like an armored core. Like, hang on, I gotta show you a picture of the Zowart. I built one because I thought it was so good. Zowart. The Zowarts are so cool looking. They look like a muscle tracer from, like, mixed with an armored core. And I adore that. I adore it so much. But, yeah. I think if I had to put G-Witch on this tier list, G-Witch would be right at the top of good. I wouldn't put it in amazing, because I think the story is a little lacking, but it teeters on amazing. It's very good. And it makes me a little sad that it doesn't exist on the tier list site as it is, but that is absolutely where I would put G-Witch. Let's see. There was one more before G-Witch that that's right. Build Divers Re-Rise. And there is one specific thing that... And now this is probably going to be the longest segment, so if you're watching the VOD and you want to skip this part, go for it. Because I'm about to talk at length about my thoughts on Build Divers Re-Rise. But if you want the too long didn't read before I start rambling on about this show, it would go right at the top of Byte. But not for the reasons you think. Because personally, I have a lot of attachment to this show. And the reason why I have... Actually, you know what? No, it would go right next to G-Witch, right at the top of good. Yeah, so TLDR, Divers Re-Rise goes right at the top of good, right next to G-Witch. And the reason why is multifold. Because basic... You know what? Screw it. If I had to put Divers Re-Rise on this list, it would be at the bottom of amazing. I flip-flopped 3 times on this frickin' thing, but you'll see why my emotions are sort of scattered on this when I really stop to think about where Divers Re-Rise should be. And it's because the mech design is incredible. It is immaculate. I don't know what happened between the original Divers and this to make it so awesome. But Build Divers Re-Rise is what Build Divers should have been the first time. It's a stupid Gunpla romp that has the stupidest story of any Gunpla or even Gundam franchise. In that you have you have five kind of dumb people, or like bad people, coming together to play a Gundam MMO in a world where they get transported across the galaxy to a furry planet that's overruled by AI. Even saying it out loud. Like, the overarching plot is what happens when you have a booger sugar bender, and then you're just like, you know what? What's the most deviant thing we can think of for a Gundam show? And that's what Build Divers Re-Rise is, to be perfectly honest with you. Because each of the main characters reads very much like my first OC. But I'm going to be perfectly candid with y'all about this. I adore the core Gundam. Like, between it and the Gundam Aerial, the core Gundam is the coolest Gundam that exists. I can find no Gundam that comes nearly close enough to the core Gundam in terms of how awesome it is, other than the Aerial and the F-91. But not only that, hold on. I also feel like I need to showcase this screenshot while I talk about it. Because the character designs are interesting. And I say interesting in that they carry over from the original Build Divers in terms of some of the characters. But the new characters are where it's at. And the reason why is because it focuses on these four people here. And each person here has their own thing that they're dealing with, to some degree. Like, he's afraid of flying. He wants to be like a streamer hero character based off of a character called Captain Xeon. And he's kind of a pretentious tool. And then we have this guy. This guy single-handedly made the entire show for me. Because... and this is where things get a little bit personal for me, but please bear with me as I talk about this. Hiroto's main character arc is him dealing with loss. Yes, this man right here is dealing with loss. But he's dealing with a loss that's really, like... it shouldn't be as profound as it is, especially like when I go to describe it, it doesn't sound like much, but what you need to understand is that for a show that's as bonkers and as stupid and insane as this one, it came at a moment of my life where when I really needed it. And I don't know if any of y'all have a show like this, but Build Divers Re-Rise came out at a time when I really needed it to help me like work through some shit in therapy. And it's all because of this guy right here. So I'm just going to give like a big spoiler warning because I don't really want to spoil the plot of or like the character driven side of Re-Rise very much. But I feel like I need to really like discuss what's going on. So again, if you don't want to hear me spoil this, but what I've said so far has like somehow convinced you to go and watch it, my recommendation is stop here, go watch Re-Rise, and then come back. I'll wait. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I'm going to start talking about why this motherfucker right here makes the whole show. And it's because he had an AI girlfriend, very similar to the original main character of the first Built Divers, of which I thought was stupid. Basically, he's the Shin Asuka of this show. Whereas the original main character, I think his name was Riku, I don't remember and I don't care, had his AI waifu. Hiroto didn't realize that he had an AI waifu until he realized that she was basically dying from cyber cancer, and she makes him kill her. But before that happened, he assumed that she was just another player in this game. And he grew very, very attached to this girl. To the point where it very much was the implication that the two were dating in kind of a weird way. And it even got to the point where he was like excluding all other relationships, even one with a girl where, like a girl in the real world, where it was very obvious that she was into him. But the trauma of the loss that he goes through over this one person who, by rights, he probably shouldn't have had any kind of trauma response to, but he does, makes it so that he lives in permanent denial that she's actually, air quotes, dead. Even though he's the one who killed her with his own gunpla. I almost said two hands, but that's not strictly true. But before that, he was like one of the best players in the game with his core Gundam. He was one of the best players of Gunpla Battle even before that. To the point where he built the core Gundam based off of designs, off of a design from a entry grade RX-78. And I'm not gonna lie, the way that he builds Gunpla is the same way that I build Gunpla. So already when this story took place and you see like all the different ways that he builds Gundams, it very much reminded me of the way that I approach it when I build Gundams. But then you have the story of loss that he has where he's... Because the story setup is that he's searching all of GBN to find this girl again. To find this one person that he's really, really attached to and living in denial that she's gone. Like, she's, for all intents and purposes, dead. And he even has he goes through this like very long character arc where he has to slowly come to terms with the grief of loss. The grief of this loss. And he has to start looking at it in the eye. And at first, he doesn't. Like, everyone on this top row are all the main characters of the show. And to some degree, they all are selfish bastards who, like, are all out for their own thing, except for maybe this guy here who's just in it to try and make friends, really. He's like the friendship character, like the love and friendship character. But he's a noble boy who, long story short, he's a noble boy who became a paraplegic after being in a plane accident. This guy right here is the son of a fisherman who wanted to be a big, strong hero, but he's kind of a short stock whose ego is really, really big. And he idolizes a hero. And she's what's called an electronic diver, which is basically a sentient AI. And she's a descendant of... Like, no one knows where she came from. And it's revealed later on who she is, but... I'm not going to say just yet, because it'll be relevant later. Just know that these two are connected in a way that's very odd. And this kid's a furry. That is all. Sorry. That's a very reductive way of putting it. He has his own thing going on, though. He's just more like the supporting, goofy. I almost hate to say this, but like animal mascot character. But this guy right here, like I said, the story is set up where he's just going around GBN trying to find this one girl that he's lost. And at first, he does not confront the reality of that grief. To the point where these 4 people, and even like the village of the furries and like the furry village that they constantly rescue from the evil AI character, even though that those are supposed to be his friends and those are the people that he's supposed to be connecting with and growing closer to, he never really does. He's the best player on their team, but he's always jumping ahead, doing his own thing. He's more concerned about finding this one person than he is actually trying to build new connections and memories. And even in the real world, his childhood friend notices that he went from being someone who was so full of like life and enthusiasm and loyalty and just this nice guy into being this recluse who's kind of hateful. And that just struck a chord with me on a very deep level because that was me. Maybe not to the same extent, and maybe I never like played an MMO with space furries across a galaxy, but the character arc that this one guy goes through, that Hiroto Kuga is his name, that Hiroto Kuga goes through, helped me go through a moment of my therapy when I needed to start confronting my own loss and confronting my own, like, inner pain. And I guess it helped me realize, like, the importance of needing to connect with other people around you instead of trying to push them away all the time. Being willing to accept help, being willing to talk more openly about the problems that are going on in your head, and just really make those connections of like, I don't know, just being able to be vulnerable with your friends, you know? And again, I'm sorry if this is getting a little bit too personal, but, and if she's watching this, oh my god, I'm so sorry. You have to listen to me be a dorcas when I'm supposed to be talking about Gundam anime, but my god. My art mentor, one of my best friends, and just someone who's stuck it out with me. Her name's Ashley. She's married to another one of my best friends of all time. There was just this moment where I remember messaging my group of friends, whom I play D&D with on the regular, and telling them just how much I appreciated them and how much I regret not being a better friend, basically. And just by not being able to allow myself to be vulnerable in their presence. And it just made the difference of, I don't know, like, it's weird because this could literally happen to anyone, I suppose, where you find a character that resonates with you so much that you end up in a situation where you see parts of yourself that you don't really want to acknowledge, and it actually helps you in a therapeutic way. Maybe that's a bad thing for me, but it's true. Like, the overarching plot of Re-Rise is stupid. Like, it makes no sense. It's one of the goofiest things I've ever seen. But the character drama between all of these different characters, hell, even Sorry. Like, oh man, I don't know how else to put it, but like even the character drama between Kazami and Hiroto, the fact that it's implied that, oh man, I'm rambling way too much about this show, but I just felt like I had to share like what my thoughts are on it, especially since it's not on like that Gundam tier list, and I think that's a crime because this would go right up in amazing purely just for my own like sentimental value. It's a show that I go back and rewatch from time to time just for that sentimental value alone. And because it taught me, like, I know like this sounds dumb. It really does, but it was a show that came at the right time and told the story that I felt like I needed to hear at the right time. Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's enough of that. Just know though that if it existed on this tier list, it would be right at the bottom of amazing. So yeah. That's the Gundam tier list. I had a lot of fun making this. And I thought it was necessary because look at my face. I look like a dang Gundam. So I might as well like speak on what I think some of the best Gundams are. And you know what? For some of these down here that I haven't watched yet, I would be totally willing to watch them because, well, I mean, maybe some of them. Like, I don't know what half of these are, but the one that I know that I would actually want to watch is Bandit Flower. And I say that because I already like Gundam Thunderbolt. Like, December Sky was incredible. And there's just something about the way that December Sky was that makes all of this like so good. And then of course, you know, Bill Diver's Re-Rise and Witch from Mercury and G-Quacks. Witch from Mercury was incredible too, but G-Quacks is one that I want to watch maybe when I have some extra free time on hand. Who knows? And yeah. Mobile Fighter G Gundam will always be the GOAT of Gundam for me. And yeah. This here's been the Gundam tier list. I guess we could just hang out and chill for a little bit. And I'll just yammer on about something. Or actually, hang on. Maybe there is something I want to do. Hold on. I have to open up a new window for this, though. Never mind. But while I'm here, I'll just talk a little bit, I guess, about how I've been and what's going on. By the way, if this is the point of the video and or stream that you're not really that interested in and you just wanted to see me make a tier list, sorry, but here's the yapping section. I'm working on a tabletop RPG. I know that I mentioned that to Sleeps the other day when I did a hangout stream like this, and working on it is slow progress, but I'm getting there. It's going to be a mech RPG to nobody's big great surprise. But maybe once I actually have a working model for it going, and like a working set of rules, maybe I'll run a test game and see how it works. My father's actually doing better. He's already had his first day back at work and he's walking around and being cool. I'm eternally grateful that I didn't lose my father like a week and a half ago now, I guess it's been. But yeah, every day that I get to see that he's doing well and that he's going back to normal and he's doing his thing again, it's just good to know, you know? That might be one of the corniest things I've ever said on my little corner of the internet, but it's true. And also, one thing that I wanted to read out was a script for a video that I was planning on making and then just never ended up doing because I'm dumb. But Google. I need to go on my Google Docs. Sorry. But there was a video that I had intended to release that I just never did because, oh god, I don't even know how I would edit it. But it's something that I really wanted to. It's something that I wanted to make in video form, but it's kind of a message that I wanted to send to everybody, regardless of video or anything like that. So I'll just read it out now because I'm bad at like conveying emotions or whatever. But it's, and bear in mind if this sounds weird, it's because it was originally going to be a scripted video, so this is the script I wrote for it. But the message of it kind of, you know, the message is still relevant. In a lot of ways, playing video games and speech have been cornerstones of my life that have led me to new and interesting things, and things that I didn't expect to actually enjoy. But around the time about a year ago, and for context, I was originally supposed to release this in March. Because I think it was around March or February that I actually started streaming about a year ago. So it says around this time 1 year ago, but you know, semantics. I finally decided to stop procrastinating on a thing I wanted to do and actually shoot for it. Becoming a VTuber was something that I had thought about doing for nearly 4 years before I actually worked towards it. I wanted to be a streamer and a content creator before, but I always kind of ended up being a bit worried about showing my real face on camera and forcing myself and my ideas in the public eye. I was kind of a failure, kind of mid at school, made a bunch of stupid decisions, and ended up in a dead-end job that I still work to this day to put food on the table. That all changed when I was scrolling through YouTube and I found the channel of Natasha Nanners. At first I thought it was just an anime about a girl playing games and didn't interact with her content at all at first. But then I actually decided to click on one of her vids and was actually really shocked to see that the anime girl on the thumbnail wasn't just some static image, but a moving, smiling, interactable character who was talking to the audience. You can imagine at this point I was kind of shocked and interested to see what this was. And after subscribing to her and a few other VTubers, I ended up paying close attention to this sphere of content and podcasts that interest me. These things all culminated in me beginning to imagine what it would be like if I could actually do something like this, but... hang on, sorry. Hey Sleeps, what's up, dude? I'm reading a script from a video that I was originally gonna release, but didn't end up doing. Let's see. I'll just start the paragraph over. After subscribing to her and a few other VTubers, I ended up paying close attention to the sphere of content and podcasts that interested me. These things all culminated in me beginning to imagine what it would be like if I could actually do something like this. But I have a character flaw. I have the mind of a perfectionist, and one where I just don't want to show anybody anything unless my work is pristine, perfect, and without a single flaw. If I feel like something doesn't meet my standards, no matter what stage it's at, I will ball it up and throw it away. It is a trait that has seen me pass up opportunities or undo sometimes hours upon hours of work that I pour into a project. It's seen me mess things up in real life to the point where instances where I could have just let something go and move on had me just straight up self-sabotage and give up. In fact, it took an entire oh my god. In fact, it took an entire other person, one of my best friends in the entire world and my mentor in drawing, to help me understand and break free of this mindset a little, or at least enough to just say, if I don't do this now, I won't get another chance. And so, using some money I was given for Christmas, I began to embark on what would become one of the most fun, interesting, and healing journeys I'd ever undertaken. Becoming a streamer. I put "and content creator," but I haven't actually made any content worthwhile, so just ignore that part. I decided to just take some advice I'd been given from a therapist and my best friend. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect can come later. You'll never get there without actually doing the thing first. And she was right. So I made all the necessary purchases I needed to make in order to fire up my very first stream. I wanted to show people a tactic I made up in my head. In parenthesis, and someone else probably already figured out long before me, called Fast 15 in Elden Ring, where, without killing a single boss, you can get a plus 15 weapon and decent armor, and I decided to stream it to YouTube. Those videos literally got 0 views, save for the times that I think my friends watched me, and at first I confessed I was very discouraged, but now that I'm reflecting on my time, I'm grateful for that first quiet streaming series. No, if you're making it, you are a content creator, you're just in the early stages of it. Thanks. Yeah. Also, man, my stream delay is rough. Let me try refreshing. Oh, okay. Sorry, mate. And at first, I confess, I was very discouraged, but now that I'm reflecting on my time, I'm grateful for this first quiet streaming series. The video quality was poor, the internet wasn't good, and my mic was nothing short of abysmal. I had no knowledge of OBS, how to tweak settings, and I was trying to use it. Excuse me. I was trying to use a tutorial on how to make any microphone sound good, but even then I had no knowledge of audio balancing or anything like that. I was fresh-faced and new. I had knowledge of microphone technique and talking because of my experience in being in my school's speech team, and because my art mentor took me to a voice acting workshop once, featuring Brian Cummings. But I learned very quickly that if I was going to do these things, I was going to have to learn to be my own producer, talent manager, and accountant. So over time, I tried to hone my technique, upgraded my internet, my computer setup, my microphone, and even got myself a new desk and monitor set up. I was asking questions on Reddit on what to do, and trying to actively interact with content and videos on YouTube. All of this was sort of my on-the-job training, if you will. And all of it helped me start to develop the skills I needed to try and do well with my content. But I knew that if I wanted to achieve my goals and chase that dream, I was going to have to learn one skill I'd suppressed because of my own distaste for it. Marketing. And so I then made myself a bit of a pivot. I started I began streaming to Twitch, but uploading the VODs to YouTube, and I made a Twitter, or X, or whatever it is this week, account to try and build a following. And over the course of half a year, I've made it to about, between 215, 216 as of right now followers on Twix, and now pretty close to 76 or 77 followers on Twitch, and some subscription and some I'm getting nervous. Good lord. And about like 70-ish, 75, 77-ish followers on Twitch. And eventually making affiliate on Twitch. Which to this day makes me stunned that I was able to pull off one of my goals. I began writing lore and story for myself, began to pursue another love of mine, reading trashy and terrible fanfiction, and finding weird stuff on the internet. And now here I am, about 1 year later, just in awe, looking at a catalog of stuff I've done. And even if it's unrefined and imperfect, and maybe I'm not living up to my own impossible standards yet, I feel kind of happy. And yeah, it's not to my standards just yet, but the process, the learning, the trying, the overcoming, it's kind of given me a gift I didn't know I desperately needed in life. And it's sort of a liberating freedom. A release of burden to not be perfect my first try, but to try it all. I know that a lot of this sounds like... I know this sounds a lot like a well duh, or something that should be obvious, but in my head, I thought that if I was going to do something right, I have to ace it and be perfect on my first attempt. But doing this has kind of shown me otherwise. So, then you might be asking, boy, what's the point of telling us all this? Where'd all this come from all of a sudden? Well, I wanted to write this as sort of a reflection piece, something akin to taking a look back, seeing the forest for the trees, and maybe share a bit about who's making all this goofy stuff for you guys to watch. But more importantly, I wanted to make this as a sort of love letter to you guys. Yes, your boy's getting sentimental now, but I mean it when I say, thanks for the ride, y'all. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks to everyone who believed in me, and thank you for giving this doofy robot guy a chance to maybe bring a little bit of chill and humor to your guys' lives. So what's going to happen now? Well, I'm going to keep streaming, going to keep working at being the best little robot I can be. Been working in BandLab and other music editors, poorly, to try and make my own music. So I'm trying to learn how to sample, and I'm trying to learn how to remix, and trying to learn how to write with these weird... Script says boy's getting sentimental now, as opposed to every time I'm in Byte stream and make him get sentimental. Yeah, you got a point there, Sleeps. Dear God. What can I say? I'm a robot of heart and soul. But yeah, I'm trying to learn BandLab. I'm trying to learn stuff. I also want to try making video essays at some point about video games and any topic that kind of interests me. But that's going to require me to have to learn how to edit, and it's going to have to require me to learn how to actually, stitch things together in a weird way. But hopefully, maybe I can, in the future, make another channel that's all, like, scripted content and my music and all that. And then my main YouTube channel will just be VOD content. Who knows? I've got a lot of ideas kicking around in my head, and I need to give myself a sharp kick in the rear. Bytes beats. God, that's good. I'm stealing that. Oh boy. But yeah, no. Hopefully I can get around to one of the 900 trillion ideas I have kicking around in my head, and maybe give myself a sharp kick in the rear to really get on the grind set properly. And what's funny is that for my New Year's resolution, I had to actually split my ideas and thoughts into two different lists, like achievable goals and dreams. And right now I'm just going to work towards the achievable goals part of that, maybe two at a time. And hopefully just one day I hope I can live off of this dream, but until that day comes, I'll just keep doing what I do and shoot for the moon. Try to make sense of everything and just try to keep making people happy, you know? Oh boy, I'm dumb. But I originally wanted to make this into an actual make that script into a video essay, but I never got around to it. But I thought it was important to say, so I just read it now off on off on stream. I don't know why I was so nervous. But I get nervous whenever I talk about personal shit. This was supposed to just be a chill stream with a tier list and me yammering on about stupid shit. But here we are. And the sentiment is true though. Where I'm grateful for everybody who shows up. I'm grateful for every lurker. I'm grateful for everyone who just kind of gives me a chance and just pops in, says hello, maybe chats for a little while. It means the world and a half to me, you know? Normally you get nervous, then suddenly you go, you know what, fuck it, let's talk about insert topic. Yeah. That is how it do, you know? But yeah, so it's pretty much what I wanted to go on about. Ooh, actually, there was another thing I thought would be cool to do for a hangout for the hangout stream. Maybe not tonight because I'm getting a little bit tired and I have to do like a few interviews in the morning, but I think it'd be cool if I tried to revive me trying to grind out chess. There was a time on my, like on the early days of my channel where I wanted to really grind out chess. And I did it for like a week and then stopped. But I think I want to pick it back up again because chess to me is a very fascinating game that I want to actually be kind of good at. But I don't know how entertaining that would be for people to watch. I know I barely got people watching me playing Mech Warrior, but maybe one day I'll grind out chess again. And once I get some batteries for my mouse, or a different mouse entirely, depending on my mood. Did you research the fundamentals about the optimal strategies? At first... Okay, so I've always played chess my entire life. I learned it from my grandpa, and I learned it from my dad. And it was only like recently through like Gotham chess and watching like PogChamps and all that that I realized that there's actually more nuance to the game that than I thought. So I started studying openings and I started studying like the different ways you could play chess. So right now I'm a almost dedicated... This is going to sound weird, but I'm a dedicated birds and dedicated Pierce defense, or perk, with the Markovsky defense. Those are words that I just said. And actually, just to show you kind of like this, just to kind of show off like some of the stuff that I do in chess. Let me scoot over real quick. I also think that there's an ad going right now, so this is a perfect time for me to do this. Let's see, chess analysis board. And I'm going to window capture the chess analysis board. Yes. I'm gonna wait until the ad break ends, but yeah, chess. Chess is a game that I might want to grind out again eventually. I'm not gonna play games right now, and I'm not gonna play games tonight. Wait, I'll just wait a little bit until the ad's done, but... And the community's... It says the community's back, so I'm going to trust it. I'm not going to actually play any games tonight, because, like I said, I'm getting a little tired, and I would like to get some sleep, but... I had the fundamentals of how to play chess from my grandpa and my dad. Played a little bit in high school, played a little bit in college, before I dropped out. And, yeah, when I was in, like, my 20s, I started looking up, like, stuff from Gotham and watching PogChamps and all that, and just, like, that big chess boom that was going on with content creators at the time. And it rekindled my, like, desire to play chess. But I'll show you right now my two favorite openings. And my two favorite openings are these. First, it's the birds. And I like to play a variation of it where I sort of nest the knight right there. Maybe this is a stupid way to start a chess game, but if I'm playing white, I'll either do that, or I'll play... Or I'll play this. Which is, I guess... I don't know what you would call that. But this is another variation of what I would normally play. If I'm playing as black, I almost always play a Pierce defense, so... Or a perk. I don't know what it's actually called. But if I'm playing black, I'll do this. Yeah. So, if I'm playing black, this is normally the opening I go for. And if I'm playing white, there... You know what? I'll just demonstrate with a bot. I don't care. But I'll only, like, really play the first few moves of my opening. I'm kind of trash at chess, though, so you're gonna have to deal with it. Well, hang on. I misclicked. So normally my opening is this. And then I'll move the knight there. And this is normally my opening for black. And then if I'm playing white, I'll normally open with this. I know I tried to show it on an eval board, but it's easier when I'm only needing to monitor my own pieces. But, yeah. That's how I do with chess. And hopefully I can get back to, like, grinding it out on stream, because I think it'd be interesting to really see if my board awareness got better, or if I'm still just the master of choking in the middle of a fight. And when I say fight, I mean, like, chess fight. But, yeah. I'm kind of trash at chess, but I would very much like to get better at it, because it's a very fun and interesting game. And I just like thinking of the different approaches that you can take. Chess fight, combat chess, boxing chess. Maybe chess boxing one day, but yeah. Like I said, I'm sort of trash at chess, but I would very much like to get good at chess. It seems like a skill that I would actually want to cultivate. I've already proven that I could be pretty good in a battle mech, so now I'd want to see if I'd actually be pretty good on the board in terms of chess. But yeah, I did study a few openings that I do, and I demonstrated two of them that I normally play. I also want to get very good at trying weird, like, and I don't know, maybe someone can comment later. Yeah, that is the growth, all right. But yeah, um, normally when I play board games or any kind of game at all, I usually like to play really aggressively. So my thoughts are I would really like to study like some of the really tricky, weird, like oddly tactical positions in chess and really just try to cultivate that. I feel like that would be a cool thing to do. I also think it'd be cool if I actually ever did start doing my video essays to do some of them on chess because there are some crazy and wacky stories that happen as a result of people playing chess. Like the fact that the first chess machine was actually manned by a guy sitting in the middle of the box that the chessboard was supposed to be on. Or the fact that Deep Blue ended up being one of the craziest chess engines of its time. And it was one of the first pioneers to actually like showcase just how AI chess works or like computer chess. America bans chess because people got murdered over chess games. Oh god. That's a story I'm going to have to look up later. Oh, Antarctica bans chess. I thought it said America. I read that as America for a second because I had my eyes half closed. But yeah, chess is something that I might bring back because I find chess fascinating. And then, I don't know. Might play more Repo at some point. Maybe tomorrow. Because I think the gaming content is something that I want to keep doing. Gaming stuff is fun. I just don't really have anyone to play with in Repo. But I guess single player Repo where people get to watch me fail would be fun too. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I should probably call it here for tonight. And I'll think about my chess situation. And now that I've also gotten all of the sappy stuff out of the way. But no. Yeah. Like I said earlier, as part of the video essay script that I was originally going to do, is that I appreciate everyone who shows up. And I appreciate that all of y'all are patient with me sometimes, especially if I get missing for long periods of time. The Monday and Tuesday streams are coming back, though, so yeah. But for now, I do believe this is where I'm going to have to call it. Because I have a couple interviews to do tomorrow, and maybe I'll start working on learning how to edit tomorrow after I get back home. So, thanks for watching. If you like what I do, I have a YouTube where I post all my VODs. I've got Twitter, also known as X or whatever it's called this week, where I occasionally, I've kind of slowed down on my Twitter actually because it's kind of slow. And if you're not on premium, it doesn't really push your stuff out very much. But I'll still keep going free to play because screw it, why not? But yeah. This has been Byte the Robot. I made a Gundam tier list tonight, and I was being a sentimental little robot because I'm heart and soul sometimes. Aw, thanks, dude. thank you, Sleeps. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, love you all, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace out.